Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Tom Ellis, a co-founder with Spec-ID, along with Jerry Freeman. Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Kemp.
Yeah, it's good to catch up. We talked right after the Fuse meeting. Most people know we're going to talk about software, and more specifically, we're going to talk about a cloud-based bid submittal software with a lot of other added benefits. Before we get to that, though, your customer base is mostly commercial flooring contractors, tile contractors. Tell us, how's business for your customer base right now?
Kemp, we talk to them on a regular basis, but we see them face-to-face at the trade show events. Each and every one of our customers are telling us, despite the ups and downs of the economy, they're doing well. As a matter of fact, we heard one that actually threw out some numbers that their business grew by 25%. Other ones are telling us that they're busy, they're active in the marketplace. They are certainly not retreating any of their business that was their stable business, whether it be healthcare or education or institutional or owner-occupied. They all indicate that their business is strong and healthy, and it's almost as if they don't read the headlines that you see in the news. They're just ignoring it, and they're doing well.
That's good to hear. You know, it's interesting because yesterday the Architectural Billing Index came out, and it's the lowest it's been since January. And I know that's a forward-looking indicator, but we're hearing there's a backlog out there with the commercial flooring contractors that know what they're doing, the real professionals. They seem to be super busy. So it's actually kind of this bright spot in the flooring business right now.
It seems to be very resilient in terms of whether it's owner direct business, which may or may not involve all of the stakeholders that you would see in large projects, or the projects just continue to be in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm thinking things are good for you guys. I know last time we talked, you said you had about a 50% penetration with the members of both Fuse and StarNet. I'm thinking that number continues to rise, right?
It does. Interestingly enough, StarNet and Fuse continue to attract new members, and we're not only keeping up with their pace of new members who are looking for these organizations to glean new ways to do business, but as you mentioned, it continues to rise. We're approaching 52, 55%, even as they're attracting new members to their association. So it's a win-win for both of us, all three of us, actually.
You called me the other day and said you guys were expanding and you wanted to know who you should use for a headhunter. So tell me about that.
Yes, I did. We nearly doubled our business from the year before to last year, and we're looking to, for sure, accomplish that in 2026. We've already hired 2 new salespeople. We can't keep up, honestly, with the pace that people are looking to use Spec-ID as a tool to their business. So we're looking to hire 4 more salespeople. So we are going to more than double our sales force. We're looking for those veterans in the marketplace that don't want to drive across country in their car, eat at gas stations for fuel, and they're also wanting to get out of airplanes.
You know, last time we talked about the side benefits of using the software. Most people know a bid submittal software tool. It puts in all the data. You're backed up by all the product data, by all the major commercial flooring suppliers. And you have one place to go to when it's all loaded up properly. The question to ask is those people that are considering subscribing to your software, what does it take to get them to make the decision?
You know, it's a great question. We actually look at 3 customers within the specialty contracting business. The first customer is the project manager, project coordinator. They have to realize that there's a benefit for them to have a single source of truth, to your point, that they can go to one destination and get their work done. The salespeople are the second customer in this scenario. They have to realize, keep in mind, that many times they are end-to-end, or what's called cradle to grave. They're managing the project all the way through. And they're looking at opportunities that get them out of the administrative work and convince them that they can have more time in front of their customer. And the same holds true for the PM that it does for the salesperson, because in this case, they're doing that role as well. It's the owner who's had the biggest epiphany, because many times they looked at the paperwork as simply being administrative. They weren't convinced that saving time for their salespeople meant putting more time in front of their customers. Many of them were not quite sure of what the extent of the work, administrative work, was for their project managers. But once they start recognizing that this is a tool to help generate sales margin and reduce their liability, that's when they actually step up and want to have this as part of their portfolio. So convincing all three stakeholders of the benefit using the same device really has been the biggest challenge, because we need to address all three of those, because that's the part of their business that drives sales, maintains margin, and reduces liability. So once the owner recognizes that, they begin to ask the right questions. How long does it take for training? Because many of them are intimidated by software because it can take weeks and months of training and adoption, when ours is a one class, 90-minute, and you're proficient. They're also concerned about the price. How much is it going to cost them now that they've invested in the software? When is the ROI? And the ROI is after their first project, because as we mentioned before, it is now a sales tool and it's growing their business. So the biggest challenge is to hit all of those stakeholders, and then ultimately the owner with the ROI that is genuine, and why 95% of our customers renew. They're finding that success is real. At the end of the day, a 95% renewal is almost unheard of. But more importantly, anytime we can do a demo, more than 50% of the owners sign up for Spec-ID. The industry average is somewhere around 13-14%. So obviously, we're resonating with our specialty contractors in a way that is impactful to their business.
Tom, here's the last question for you. Most people know software companies sell for a multiple that's through the roof, 20 and 30 times. How much longer are you and Jerry going to stay in the business?
We're loving what we're doing, and our vision goes beyond the specialty contractors. It goes to the GCs, which are starting to recognize what we're doing. And we've got a new owner, and that's the A&D community. They're starting to tell the GCs that they're loving the format, the ease of processing, the clarity of the submittals, the samples, and everything else. So we're looking to expand into the A&D community, as well as expand into our customer base, which includes most of StarNet and Fuse. So stay tuned.
All right, Tom, it's good to catch up with you, and thanks for telling us a little bit more about what's going on with Spec-ID. You've been talking to Tom Ellis, the co-founder, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.